the mad and macabre.
Oh, what monster could have done this?
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Live or die. Make your choice.
Wake up, little girl.
Playtime's over.
You don't know what death is.
Sliced and diced.
Welcome to a special episode of All Guts So Gory. I'm joined today by Charlie and Justin. I'm Mike. All Guts So Gory, our podcast, one of the things we wanted to do in addition to talking about our favorite horror movies is build a horror hall of fame. I think this is a project that we'll take a lot of pride in and that I hope you guys will like. And that when we have a website, it will be kind of a virtual hall of fame that people can visit as we get more listener feedback and input as we grow as a podcast. Fan voting could be part of this process as well. But we want to start with an inaugural class for our Horror Hall of Fame. And the inspiration behind this was kind of like how baseball's Hall of Fame, the original class was selected in 1936, 36 years into the modern era of the game. And 5 of the game's greats, your Babe Ruth, your Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, Christy Matthews, and Walter Johnson, those guys were inducted because they were, bar none, the top echelon of players for the first 30, maybe even 40, 50 years of this game. And then in film, there's a lot longer of a history. There's many more players, if you will. There's many more players playing different roles. You have villains. We have heroes, protagonists. We have the props that make them even more famous. We have the directors that bring these characters to life. So for this exercise, we're going to come up with 4 entrants into our inaugural class, a Mount Rush-Gore, if you will, for each category to make up our inaugural class of Hall of Famers. Some are going to be left out. Like I said, this is going to be an ongoing exercise through the life of our All Guts So Gory podcast. Maybe twice a year, once a year, we'll revisit the movies we cover and talk about who should also be inducted into this Horror Hall of Fame. But we have to put together an inaugural class. And so this is going to be a discussion about the elite, the champs going into the Horror Hall of Fame, where we're going to be splitting hairs between people that are 9.9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10s. And some are going to be left out, also get the chance to get in. But the elite class, the inaugural class, is for the top end people, protagonists, directors, villains, and props that everybody recognizes that are going to go into this Horror Hall of Fame. So part of this process was we all put together short lists of more than 4 that we would like to discuss to get in. And we'll go around the table and discuss some of those on our short list. But if we all agreed on one, then that person or villain or hero will be an entrant into our Hall of Fame. So some of these people you can probably guess we're going to talk about. Let's start with you guys, Justin and Charlie. Horror is all about the villains, so let's save that for last. You want to dive right into this, or do you have anything to say before we get started about our horror Hall of Fame?
I just want to throw out that this exercise was a lot more challenging than you may think. We all have favorite movies, favorite characters. It really comes down to preference on a lot of things. Did this person scare you more, or is this person just plain funnier? I don't know how we did it, what everybody's criteria was, but yeah, it's all going to be preference, right, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, there are characters that I enjoy watching more than others, but then for me, I had to take into account just, a history, this person's made a big impact, or this character has a bigger life in the horror genre than this other character that I might like watching more. So that was kind of how my list evolved. Yeah.
But Charlie has an unfair advantage because he was actually a teenager when the Baseball Hall of Fame came out in 1936.
How old do you think I am? Damn.
So he remembers how tough it was picking those first 4.
Old enough to remember when you could just throw a girl in a volcano.
when people would talk like, yeah, see,
That's a throwback to Cabin in the Woods.
Definitely.
23 Skidoo.
Coming to the plate is Skippy-Doo Jones.
You'll never get me, copper.
Exactly. No, it's so what categories are we going to be covering?
So we're going to cover 6 categories, and for each one, we're going to create our Mount Rush-Gore, our inaugural class here. We're going to talk about directors. We're going to talk about male and female protagonists. We're going to talk about props, the props in these horror movies. We're going to talk about 2 different types of villains, the mortal villains, mortal being human or animal, people that can be killed. They don't have special abilities or special powers. They are mortal human beings or animals. And then the immortal villains, the evil incarnate, the ones that you think they're dead and they're not. You did everything you could to kill them and they just keep coming back. The immortal. So those are our 6 categories. If you want to dive right in, let's start with directors, guys. You ready?
Sure. Who's taking directors?
All right. So we have a list of 8 directors that made our short list.
Good counting.
And I have these in alphabetical order, so there's no bias involved. They are John Carpenter, Wes Craven, David Cronenberg, Alfred Hitchcock, Tobe Hooper, Sam Raimi, George A. Romero, and James Wan. Guys, John Carpenter, we all 3 picked. So that's a unanimous in.
They're in just because Big Trouble Little China.
Right.
John Carpenter, famous for The Fog, The Thing, Halloween 1 and 2, and then other great movies, The Escape from New York, The
Ghosts of Mars,
and what was the one? Big Trouble in Little China. John Carpenter is horror royalty.
And as a guy who, like I've discussed before, I don't really pay attention to directors, writers, producers. Like, I know the actors' faces. I don't know all of their names. But these names, these just, as a guy, like I said, he doesn't really pay attention to all the details. If I know these names, then they've made it. So there you go.
Chili.
What's up with all these chili references?
That's you.
Yeah. There's a reason why we made The Thing our very first episode on this podcast, and John Carpenter's a big reason why as well. So John Carpenter is in. Wes Craven, we all 3 picked as in unanimously. Wes Craven, famously for Last House on the Left, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, among many other things. Wes Craven, again, horror royalty, 100% in.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
No brainer. He revived his career twice, I think. So, obviously, the Nightmare on Elm Street, he ruled the 80s and early 90s. Took a break, not really a break, but just maybe culture forgot about him for a second, but then came back with a vengeance with the Scream movies for sure.
Yeah, and then now we have 6 names that we're going to have to narrow down to 2 because we were not unanimous on the following 6. David Cronenberg, Hitchcock, Hooper, Raimi, Romero, and James Wan. So let's start with David Cronenberg. Was I the only one that picked David Cronenberg on the short list?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me go back to the
that
sheet.
way. Build your case,
It is.
Mike.
Okay, so David Cronenberg, when you think body horror, you think David Cronenberg.
Absolutely.
He's been around a very long time, but Rabid was a movie that he did in 1977. That's
I remember
good.
that one. It was actually pretty
The
good.
Brood in 1979.
Yep.
Scanners, the most famous head exploding scene in horror movie history.
Yep.
Videodrome, just a great movie, even if it's not horror. It is horror, but it's a great movie. The Dead Zone, The Fly is a classic of The Fly. We will be definitely doing on this podcast, I'm sure, at one point. I hope I get the chance to pick it. Dead Ringers, incredible movie. He's just, when you think body horror, you think David Cronenberg. When you think head exploding, when you think body horror is my category. The body
slashers.
Body horror slashers, blood and guts, head explodes. That's my stuff. That's why I'm picking David Cronenberg.
I think the disadvantage Cronenberg has might have been marketing for me, because as a child, it wasn't Like you mentioned The Brood. I haven't seen The Brood. I haven't seen some of those movies you mentioned, so they didn't hit as hard.
And Existence, it's spelled weird, but Existence in 1999. But I mean, yeah, 2000 on, not much to really talk about. I mean, he's been working, but nothing that people probably have seen. But I mean, the 80s and 90s, man. I mean, his stuff was legit.
Yeah, another name that I know, or I've heard of. All those movies you listed, I've seen and I like. I mean, there's no like those are all cult classics. There's no like a blockbuster in there. So for me,
you're right. I think if you're a horror casual, you probably don't know what Scanners is, even though it's famous.
It's not a great movie, by the way.
Oh, horrible acting.
Pretty recently.
I mean,
horrible act. Lead main character.
I still don't know what
actor.
the goal was. I mean, I know what the goal was, but like the ending was like.
I mean, I guess I'm going to pick Scanners when it's my turn next. But dude, The Fly, come on,
Fly. Okay,
Fly.
That's in the
Fly
top.
is so
100
good.
His stuff is good. I mean, that's why he's on the short list.
But okay, so we'll keep it moving. You know, we got quite a few to debate. So I was the only one that had David Cronenberg on my list, and now my computer froze up as I try to look at the rest of the list. Okay, next up was Alfred Hitchcock. Myself and Charlie both had Hitchcock on our short list. Charlie, do you want to take the lead on why you picked Hitchcock?
I mean, like everybody knows who George Washington is, right? But does any of his policy or his political views or ideas hold true today? I can't think of a single one. Alfred Hitchcock is kind of the same.
There are probably
way.
a lot.
I don't think so.
Is he the
but
one who
Democracy?
Alfred, well, he didn't invent democracy. No. Alfred Hitchcock is like George Washington, highly respected. He did a lot for horror and thriller. He brought it to the level where it was taken seriously.
Okay.
I'm not a fan.
So
big
Hitchcock
fan of
is
any
on
of his
money,
movies.
is what you're saying.
He's on the dollar bill.
Horror money.
Right.
That once again. So I'm gonna out myself here. I'm the only one who didn't vote for Alfred on the list here, and that's just because I don't find myself. I love Rear Window. I love Psycho. He made some awesome movies.
The Birds. Have you seen The Birds?
I've seen The Birds.
The Birds is scary as shit.
But like, if you were to ask me, I probably wouldn't. It might have been before my time in this. I appreciate
Before all of our time.
Before all our
time. Yes, before my time.
I respect his place in horror history, but as far as what we're putting on the cast or whatever, it doesn't match up with what we're going to be picking for our rewatches, right?
But he's so influential on what everyone else does in horror today. The camera shot in Psycho of looking up at the shower head as it turns on, that's been done 50 other times at least in horror movies, because he is that influential on everybody. I mean, you name a horror director and you name their influences, I guarantee you Hitchcock's name comes up 90% of the time. I think that when you're talking about elite champs, yes, he's older. Yes, it's before all these other people. These other people aren't around without Hitchcock.
Text Atticus real quick and ask him if he knows who Alfred Hitchcock is. That's a true test.
Yeah.
If he knows, then the influence, you may not be a big fan of all of his movies.
A tiny break and I can ask him, but I mean, it's up to you.
We'll just, all right, I will take Cronenberg out and stand on a taller hill for Hitchcock for this discussion.
So I'm at the.
We don't have
to finish. We
have 4 more names to go over. So
we don't have to hammer.
We don't have to hammer this out right now.
Yeah.
Let's take Cronenberg out. I was the only one that picked him. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll put him maybe next to Hitchcock since 2 of us picked him.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then let's move on to Tobe Hooper.
No idea who he is.
Oh my God.
Again,
I'm the only one that picked Tobe Hooper. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, among other things. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my Mount Rushmore of horror movies. What they were able to do in a short amount of time,
the budget,
and I mean, it's also horrific behind the scenes of how they made this. It's absolutely batshit crazy,
and it shows. Yeah, I mean,
but all the practical stuff, and you know, and then do Poltergeist, which was, let's see, that was 74. I mean, Poltergeist is about 13 years after this, so
A different level of movie, totally different.
yeah,
I would not have
with a budget,
picked the same guy.
with a budget, with a better cast, with actual A-listers. I mean, it's good.
Famously, Steven Spielberg helped write the Poltergeist, right? Or helped direct it
I think
and everything,
so.
right? So
Yeah.
Toby, it's one of those situations where it's like this movie has to be recognized, but was it necessarily because of the director? I mean, probably, yeah, right. It wouldn't be the masterpiece that it was without him, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's more of a limited scope. How about that?
Okay. Well, again, I mean, I was the only one to put him, so let's move on and let's go to Sam Raimi.
My boy.
Now, I was on the fence. Because we made a short list, I stopped at Sam Raimi. I did not add him. But Justin and Charlie both picked Sam Raimi, and I'm not opposed to adding my name to that hat and putting Sam Raimi in here at this stage. So make your case for Sam Raimi, you two.
Sam Raimi, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, the Ash series, which he perfectly brought back the feeling, the camera usage, the music, the funky mist that he used in those earlier movies, like almost 30 years later, and made it feel perfect. And just those movies alone have had, like, I love those movies. That's one of the guys that I know his name because of those movies. Yeah, it hits so hard. I love it. So I had to put him in.
Yeah. Justin?
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the Cabin in the Woods genre, as we run across in Cabin in the Woods, the movie, this was kind of written. This was his playbook that he did, and a lot of movies have been, okay, here's the rules. Here's the theme, the template for how we're going to write this movie. He does amazingly practical effects. He came back, and I don't know if anybody watched Drag Me to Hell, but I liked Drag Me to Hell.
I like Drag Me to Hell. That's great.
So it's kind of like that Tobe Hooper situation where it's like Tobe Hooper did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but then, like, I think the Evil Dead series, like the 3 movies in itself, just a broader scope and really galvanized what he did. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I think Sam Raimi has a style that when you watch his movie, it's like, oh, Sam Raimi must have did this.
There's a fun to it.
There's like Drag Me to Hell is that 2009, 10?
It was in that range.
It's 15 years ago or so ish. But that's 15 years after, no, even longer than that. 20 years after Evil Dead, 30 years after Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. And like, you watch Drag Me to Hell and you're like, oh, this looks like Evil Dead. Like, there's definitely some scenes and some effects that are Evil Dead like, you know, super zoomed in close-ups on faces or stuff going in and out of mouths, like just grossness.
Different podcast.
Grossness that is Evil Dead like. So Sam Raimi has a style that is kind of unmatched. And I do think that sets some directors apart from others when you can watch a movie and be like, oh, this is them.
His signature.
If you didn't know he did it, it's like, oh, this looks like a Sam Raimi movie. And you look, oh yeah, well, because it is. So that's why I'm willing to give a check mark and make Sam Raimi an in, if you will.
Is there a number 3?
So you guys both had him. So if I add him, that's 3.
All right.
Sam Raimi is in.
Slot left.
All right. So I will take Tobe Hooper out. Again, we still have 2 more to talk about. And I want to keep Hitchcock in as a maybe because I had Hitchcock over Hooper.
Hitchcock in the next one you're going to bring up, it's going to be similar debate, I think.
George A. Romero.
Yeah. The father of
Charlie's Boy.
the zombie genre.
So, yeah, you don't
Talk
have
about set down rules.
successful zombie movies without George A. Romero. And that's more of the modern horror than Alfred in my book. But I'm willing to be on the Alfred thing. We have to acknowledge him.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm willing to give up Romero for Alfred.
Wow.
The last one we have on our list, we'll talk more about Romero. Well, the last one we have on our list is James Wan.
Who?
And that's I'll come out again. I'm the only one who voted for James Wan, and he wrote the Saw movies with Lee Winnell. He's directed The Conjurings, The Insidious, more of the modern.
He's got the catalog,
right? It's one of those things where he's got the accolades and he is today what Wes Craven was in the 80s. He's like one of the go-to directors for it. So it's really just about which genre, or not genre, but what era do we prefer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no to James A. Wan just because this is elite, and he's a little modern, new.
Okay.
I mean, there's room for him, just not in this discussion.
He's got to pay his dues, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so we have John Carpenter in, Wes Craven in, Sam Raimi in. That brings us to George A. Romero or Alfred Hitchcock for the last spot. If I can chime in, I think Hitchcock, because of the influence on everyone else, deserves a spot. And if I can throw you a bone, Charlie, the way that this works is down the road we will do episodes where we will induct new people into our Hall of Fame based on movies we've done. We've done Dawn of the Dead was our second episode of this series, of this podcast. So if we put in Alfred Hitchcock here, when we do our next class, George A. Romero is top of the list to get in that next class.
You did them in alphabetical order, right?
I did.
So I would pick George Romero over Sam Raimi.
Oh wow,
So I'll drop
Wild
Raimi
card
and give you Hitchcock if I can get Romero in.
Well, then you got to get Raimi off of Justin too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say neither Romero nor Hitchcock are above Raimi, in my opinion. But okay, so it's not fair because Romero's catalog and Hitchcock's catalog are a real who's who of movies. So I'm kind of a pacifist in this, and I may be able to be talked out of some stuff, but it won't be without a note of I don't like
the
this.
honorable mention.
Is Romero known for the Dead series,
Yes.
and that's it?
Yes.
Like Creepshow is on there, but that's really it though, right?
His contribution is laying the slow zombie, let's bring this out, and a little heavy-handed sometimes with his underlying messages, but
that's not saying Thomas Jefferson is only known for writing the Declaration of Independence.
Well, he's
for the
known for some
Constitution.
bad
I
stuff
never get them
too,
right,
Charlie.
one or the other. But
Thomas Jefferson's known for some.
Okay,
bad
so
stuff.
what are we saying? What are we leaning towards?
We have
Are we keeping Hitchcock and dropping.
I'm more okay with Romero making it than Hitchcock just because I feel like we're just obligatory. I feel like it's like we have to put Hitchcock in there. And it's
Well, it's like saying you have to put Babe Ruth in there.
Right. It's
Like you have to. It's
F Babe
It's
Ruth.
freaking Hitchcock, man. Like
George Washington.
He threw a
Hitchcock-
piano in a river or something, didn't he?
Okay. If you don't put Hitchcock in here, do you put him in?
All right, fans, for the 4 fans that we have, we need to know
Stop.
if we should have done a modern and a classic horror.
No,
we can't.
No.
We're counting all these as
All right.
the modern era of horror, starting with Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, okay, so the movies like even Silence of the Lambs and things like that would not have happened, I think, without Hitchcock, for sure. I think it's a broader contribution than Romero. I will agree with that.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Okay. So we'll go with John Carpenter, Wes
Did I
Craven,
get you back on Raimi?
Alfred Hitchcock, and Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
I got him back on Raimi.
All right. And then George
It's a
A.
hard one.
George
Love
A.
both.
George A. Romero will be in. Spoiler alert! Will be in first class. After
Probably
the
Not as long as I live,
Second
he won't.
class.
Congratulations to Mr. Carpenter, Craven, Hitchcock, and Raimi for your contributions to the horror community.
May they all rest in peace.
Without you guys,
Wait,
horror,
Raimi's lying.
horror, yeah, Raimi's lying.
I was like, wait a second.
Throwing that out there.
Without you guys, horror would not be what it is, and we really appreciate it.
Right.
So thank you. Moving on to, we'll start with male protagonists for our next category. We have 6 nominees that we all put on short lists, and 3 of them we unanimously agreed on. So the 6 nominees are Chief Martin Brody from Jaws, Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th, 4, 5, and 6, Father Karras of The Exorcist, R.J. McCready of The Thing, Ash Williams, obviously Evil Dead, and Sean Riley, that's actually his last name, of Shaun of the Dead. So we had 3 of these. We all put Chief Brody in. We all put R.J. McCready in. We all put Ash Williams in.
Groovy.
So we are stuck between Tommy Jarvis, Father Karras, and Sean Riley to fill out the 4th spot on this Hall of Fame next to legends like Ash and McCready and Brody, people that only need to go by one name. Who wants to start?
I don't want to rat you out here, but it looks like a couple of these first ones that are single voters might be from you, Mike. So,
Yeah.
Well, I casted a larger net. So I put 5 instead of 4. I have Tommy Jarvis and Father Karras on here. I put Tommy Jarvis because Friday 4 is such a integral part of that series, and Corey Feldman's performance as Tommy Jarvis, especially the end where he shaves his head badly to look like Jason. It's one of the best kills in the Friday series, where he kills him and the Jason's head just sliding down the machete, and then he just goes crazy and he turns into a nut job.
Does what everyone in a horror movie is supposed to do when you got the villain
Just
down.
do not
that
stop
nobody
chopping
does.
away until he's in pieces.
Slash.
Curb stomp, slash, shoot, burn.
Friday 5 is infamously terrible, and he is a character in that, and it's just bad. But 6 is widely regarded as one of the best in the series. I think a lot of people kind of lean towards 4 and 6 as being 2 of the best. I mean, obviously the OG, but a lot of people lean towards 4 and 6 being 2 of the best in the series.
Not this guy.
And Tommy Jarvis is a main part of those.
I like it when he goes to hell.
I love them all.
That is the worst. You are the worst. And then Father Karras, I mean, The Exorcist is such a legendary movie, and Father Karras' role in that. Jason Miller is Father Karras.
Cousin of mine.
But he's like he's great. He's like gentle with Ellen Burstyn, who's Chris McNeil in this, and like, really cares about Reagan, whereas like a lot of the other people are just kind of like, oh, she's famous, I'm gonna help her out and whatever. But the way he plays the role and the way he sees Reagan and sees the devil coming out of her and is able to stay kind of mellow and calm, and then goes and gets the other priest, Max von Sydow. And
What does your mother do down in hell?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Goes and gets Father Marin, and they come and do this thing. I mean, this movie is just legendary on all levels. So, I mean, I guess Tommy Jarvis is a legendary character for 2 of the better movies in a bona fide franchise, whereas Father Karras is just a one movie, a one hit, like a Jack Torrance villain in The Shining, but is a one-time protagonist in this one movie, but hits a home run.
So both of it act as giving the proper, giving the proper respect to a different franchises, right? Both of them would act as that. And if that's the only reason, but if I were to give up one of my votes for Father Karras, I might, but Tommy's not important enough in my book, but I don't know.
Okay. Fair.
I mean,
points.
This was a hard category. You think horror movies, and you go right for the villain, because the villain is the star. No matter who the hero is, how good they do, how important the actor is and how good the acting is, the villain is really the star in horror movies, and maybe one of the reasons why we love it so much. Not that we're all villains, Justin, but it's hard to pick out, and somehow, strangely enough, for the male hero category, it was harder to get a good list of guys to go into this, and I don't think we have a bad one on the list. And I get your point, Mike. I mean, I'm not a big Corey Feldman fan, but he's been in these 3 movies, and
Well, he was only in 4.
Part 4.
Yeah, in part 4.
okay, yeah. But the character,
But then he's older in part 5 and 6.
But
so it's a different actor.
for this category, I went with who I like. It was
Same.
popularity contest for me, and Shaun from Shaun of the Dead. I love the movie. I loved it more than Friday the 13th 4, 5, or 6. I did not like it more than The Exorcist because The Exorcist is like,
It's a champ.
you climb to the top of Everest and you look around, you're going to see horror movies, and The Exorcist is going to be there.
All right. I will take Tommy Jarvis out. I took a stand with Hitchcock, so I will lose Tommy Jarvis.
Okay.
Like, did Hitchcock make the list?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Justin, if you want to make a case for Shaun of the Dead versus Father Karras.
It's not a good case. It's not a good case at all because it's a single movie. Simon Pegg just brings the typical everyday man to this, so stupid. Hey, let's not the best plans, nothing. But so I'm willing to bend on Shaun, even though Shaun of the Dead to me is one of my favorites. It brings a lot of comedy and stuff, but Father Karras may have a better case than Sean Riley.
I saw you roll your eyes there a little bit. I don't know if I agree.
Does it matter that Jason Miller was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this?
No. not to this guy. To you guys.
Now,
Accolades mean nothing.
I'm willing to give up Shaun too.
Okay.
Father Karras it's an iconic movie. That has a lot of weight. It's standalone. I don't recognize Exorcist 2 as existing. 3 was okay.
Wasn't 3 good?
Anything that came after that is
not a fan of
like doesn't
Exorcist
exist.
Believers, the new one.
Nah,
it was all right.
But I'll go Karras. I'll make him my number 4.
So Mike the Bully wins again.
I ceded to you guys.
We're kidding, man.
I ceded. All right. So Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider, in Father Karras. Jason Miller in R.J. McCready. Kurt Russell, The Thing, in Ash. Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead series, in.
My number 1.
Thoughts from you guys on? We talked a little bit about Kurt Russell and McCready when we did The Thing. Thoughts on Chief Brody and Ash?
Maybe save him because I feel like Jaws will be somebody's pick. Will it be a special episode being 50 years old?
Yeah, a lot of people already did that.
Nah, we're not like other
We'll do
people.
like a 51st anniversary episode to it.
Yeah. But Ash, come on, guys. He's he's everything in the movie. He's the hero. He's the comic relief.
He's the fool.
He's the fool. He's the dumbest character.
Weirdly, the sex symbol.
Weirdly. And
yeah. So
number 1 in my book.
Yeah. Even in some of the episodes when we were workshopping this Hall of Fame and talking about the characters, and we were talking about protagonists, and Ash's name came up a couple times. Not to spoil it, but we talked about Ellen Ripley, which is coming up in our next category. Who are some, we talked about villains that are 100% in. Who are some protagonists? And it was Ripley came up, Ash came up. That's 100%. You don't got to think about it. They are in. And so Ash and Sam Raimi getting in. R.J. McCready and John Carpenter getting in.
Yeah.
Hey,
How about that?
how about them apples?
All right. Let's move on to the female protagonists. We have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. The first 2 on this list are in without question. We all 3 unanimously picked. These are Sidney Prescott from Scream, Ellen Ripley, Alien, Clarice Starling, Laurie Strode, Nancy Thompson, and Alice, unknown last name, from
Abernathy or something.
Abernathy from Resident Evil.
That can't be right. That can't be right.
Okay, so we have Sidney Prescott and Ellen Ripley in the Hall of Fame. The first one up for debate is going to be Clarice Starling, Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs. Charlie, your thoughts?
Well, first I'd just like to say this category is female protagonist or female hero, and the male hero. You'll notice probably pretty clearly that we don't have a final girl category here because I don't feel like Final Girl really gives. It seems negative to me. It's like Final Girl, they're not girls.
It's very 1980s, 1990s.
Yes. I mean,
And we've evolved, right?
We've
talked about
evolved.
it.
I mean, there are characters who survive in horror movies through luck or no, like hero type actions, but there's no like final boy. And there's male characters that survive through luck and, just, I don't know, being
I think LL
whatever
Cool
the
J.
script writer.
LL Cool J and what's that one? The Sharks?
yeah,
He's the final boy in that one.
No, there's two guys survived
Oh,
that
okay.
movie. But so, we've had this discussion, not on the podcast. I think we mentioned it a couple times before, but I feel like this is a better representation for women and for us. Like we're not,
Clarice Starling is no
with
idiot.
nudity are fun,
Yeah.
but
Clarice Starling is no final girl. She's no idiot. She's a strong,
right.
strong, intelligent
Clarice is
FBI
yes,
officer.
She
that
is
figures shit out and finds Buffalo Bill and uses Hannibal Lecter, like confronts Hannibal Lecter, talks to him, interviews
evil
him.
genius.
Yeah.
And from the minute she's not from the get, she's not weak, she's not hysterical, she's not, the feel like she has a better control over what's going on and really pulls it through. I mean, like she's outwitting the evil genius and getting all of his information that leads her to the bad guys, to the bad guy, figures it out. And then, of course, gets the payoff, gets to pop him in the end.
Was she a big fat girl?
Sure, a big old fat person.
Right. So that's my pitch for Clarice. And, again, a target-rich environment for this category. There's a lot of good female heroes in this category. And it's just, maybe I need to make some compromises. We'll see.
We'll see. We got 3 more to talk about.
So my thoughts on Clarice are the same as my thoughts on the movie in general. It's a hard one. It feels more like a thriller, so maybe I'm precious about including Clarice as a lead female protagonist in horror movies when I don't fully believe it's a horror movie. But I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, there's 3 more to talk about. I mean, Clarice is intelligent, strong, gets it done. But let's move on to a final girl in Laurie Strode. I mean, this is where she
starts off that way,
right?
But she gets developed where she's not
exactly like
final girl.
Laurie Strode is kind of where the final girl trope develops in the first Halloween in 1978. And then, I mean, that's debatable. I mean, some people might look at Black Christmas in 74, as maybe the first
My daughter looks
kind
at
of
it
final
that way,
girl
for sure.
Trope. But Laurie Strode in the Halloween franchise, there's the early movies. She's not in parts 3 through 6. Then she comes back for H2O, Resurrection. They talk about her in the other movies, but Danielle Harris is the star in 4, 5, and 6. Or not 6, 4, and 5. But then when she comes back in the David Gordon Green ones that came out in 2018, I believe was the first one. This is Jamie Lee Curtis's portrayal of Laurie Strode. I mean, she's a badass. She is older. She's been spending 30 plus years waiting for Michael to show back up.
Begging Michael to show back up.
Yeah,
I wish that motherfucker would.
She's got family drama because she's still hung up on Michael Myers. She's turning her house into a death trap and just loading up like a doomsday prepper on guns and ammo and shit. And she's a badass when it comes down to it. So not only is she legendary as Halloween 1 and 2 in one of the greatest horror movies ever, but she's also doing it in her later life. And I think that gives her more levels to the character, which is why I have her in this Hall of Fame.
I would like to go on the record and say that I will give up Clarice and switch my vote to Laurie.
Okay.
That's 2 for Laurie.
There's 2 on Laurie right now.
Yep.
Let's see if there's any others that get some votes.
Let's see what happens.
So Justin's the one that did not vote for Lori. So that moves us down to Nancy Thompson.
To me, it's once again, it's all about preference here. It feels like I think I saw the not Nightmares. Yeah, well, I did see Nightmare on Elm Street first, as I said on the pod, and the Friday the 13th. It took me a little longer to get into the Halloween series. So I think it's all about maybe who you saw and connected with first. So that's why Lori's not on my first short list.
Okay. So since Charlie seeded Clarice Starling, and that was the only vote on the short list, we'll take her off and we will put Lori as a maybe. That leaves us with two more names. Nancy Thompson, who is Heather Langenkamp in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Justin's first pick on this podcast. So, Justin, do you want to go on record with your thoughts on Nancy Thompson?
I feel like Nancy separates herself from some of the ones that were lucky to make it to the end. She listened to what Glenn in the movie said about the way that different people dream and how they can control their lucid dreaming. And then she comes back and actually educates a whole new crop of people on how to fight the villain in that movie, Freddy. Basically empowers them and kind of...
In which movie?
In Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, she comes back and empowers a whole group of dream warriors, if you will, and teaches them how to fight, teaches them to realize they're in the dreams. And then I believe that 3 really was the one that opened up the lore for the rest of the franchise. She does end up, spoiler alert, she doesn't make it through 3, which was kind of bullshit, but that's all right. And she comes back later in A New Nightmare, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, which was pretty meta. And you know what? In case she hears this, I'm going to be seeing her in a couple weeks in Lexington, so I have to give her the shout out. Wow. So, but yes, Heather Langenkamp and Nancy, to me, do more to separate themselves as a protagonist in my book.
Yeah, and I had Nancy as well. She's what I would call active. If we're using, if we want to use the term
proactive.
Final girl, or a female protagonist, she's an active protagonist. Where in Final Girls, God, I gotta stop saying Final Girls, but in these 80s movies, when they were final girls, a lot of them were just trying to escape, trying to elude, trying to get away. Alice, the female protagonist, the final girl in Friday the 13th, the original, she survives. She finally confronts Pamela Voorhees at the end, but she's just trying to get away. But Nancy is like, I'm setting traps. I'm going in there to get Freddy. I'm bringing Freddy into our world. Like, I'm getting his ass. And being active like that kind of separates her from the pack of all the other, like, oh, let's run away. Like, she's
run
like,
up the stairs.
She's like, I'm getting his ass. Like, here's my plan.
But I kind of feel like that's the trope of the final girl is, like, most of the movie, they're just reacting, they're running, there's a lot of chase scenes, a lot of falling and almost getting killed while other people are around her are getting killed. You have sex in a scary movie, you're dead. Don't do it. They're dead. Yeah. She's alive. And then at the end,
she's chasing
like
Freddy.
In Friday the 13th,
that's in the second one, yeah.
She brings it to...
She tricks Jason.
Well, even in the first one, when she takes out the mom, she's fighting. She is a warrior, but that's how the final girl
eventually
thing goes.
at the end, she gets a hold of the thing and does it, but she's running the rest of the movie. She is running away.
Right.
I feel like Nancy went to the library, picked up a book on booby traps, started doing this thing, and I feel like she more so in the first movie than Lori schemes and comes up with a plan to defend herself, but
But yeah, Lori is saved by the doctor in the first movie.
Lori,
still
might get my Alice. I may give up one of my other votes for Lori, but
hell no.
I'm not giving up Nancy. Nancy's my hill right here. Don't.
So let's put a maybe by Nancy. Ugh. Well, wait, because we have one more to talk about.
And
this is Charlie and Justin's pick. Alice,
this is my
from
hill.
Resident
Evil. It's a modern one, yeah.
So you guys discuss.
So Alice from Resident Evil, Mila, come on now, first name basis.
Yeah, but definitely
she
on a
is
first
not
name basis.
final girling anything.
No,
she is. I'm a badass, and I'm gonna kill every motherfucker around me. And she's in a lot more movies.
She was nerfed to lose her memory in the first movie because she's such a badass. Like, you can't start off with her being a badass.
She gets a handicap out of the gate. So I mean, Alice is
A hero.
her and Ellen Ripley are Ellen. Not I say Helen.
It's Ellen.
Ellen Ripley are the two strongest for me. That are like, now fuck this. This is how it's going to go down. I'm killing. Who's the villain? Who's the badass in this movie? Not you. It's me.
My only pushback, even though I voted for her, will be the cultural impact of the Resident Evil series versus the other series. Does that... I mean, I know there were 6. How many movies was she in? 6 movies?
At least.
Video games?
In the video games. So I think that was
Before
that
the
same
movies?
character?
I don't know. I only played the part 2 video game.
So my thought is, how far down the list do you have to go before somebody says Resident Evil versus the Halloweens? And
Pretty far down the list. I did not pick Alice for this.
So, you know what, you guys?
no, I love Alice.
I mean, you guys just might have to override me on this one.
Oh, no.
I'll do Lori, but
if
I'm
you
not
do
a
Lori, I'll
Nancy
do Lori.
fan. She does a good job. Fine job.
I'm not giving up
Fine
Nancy,
job.
but I'm willing to give up.
Maybe we'll
Alice.
just flip a coin.
Oh no!
No, we're not doing that.
We'll let the cat decide.
All right, what can I? Let's make this like how Congress should work. What can I give you to keep Nancy on the list here?
How are we on Lori?
I can
Lori
give up
is
Alice,
in.
but you like Alice, okay?
I have no discussion on Alice. My 4 are Sydney Ripley, Lori, and Nancy.
I think all 4 years are going to get in this time then, because I'll give up Alice if she's number 1, undisputed in the second class.
Okay, second class. I'm down with that because I voted for her in this class, but I just feel like we'd be snubbing. We'd be snubbing.
Again,
some
these are
franchises.
elite, champs.
Blech, Nancy.
All right, so we have Laurie Strode. Congratulations. Nancy Thompson is in. Congratulations. So, thoughts on Sidney Prescott, who was unanimous from all of us. Any quick thoughts on her? Nev Campbell, Scream series?
Basically, the star in 4 of the Scream movies, right? The next 2 became about Jenna Ortega and her sister.
Yeah, but Nev's still in them.
Nev's
Yeah.
still
She's still a protagonist in
she's
them.
mentioned in
No, she's
6,
in
maybe?
them. She's
Did
in
she
them. She
show up
helps. Yeah. She helps.
One of them I thought she was like on vacation or somewhere safe or something.
Oh.
I thought, but anyway,
I'm pretty sure she
no.
helps.
I mean, she's as far as if you take a line and you say from 95 or was it 94? What was
96 was the OG.
from 96 and up? She's pretty much the undisputed female hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, she overcomes a lot in her personal life. Not Nev Campbell.
Her
maybe she
mom
does,
was
but
a
Sidney
hoe,
Prescott.
apparently.
I mean, her mom's death in the first one was a major plot point.
Sex positive.
The first killer's her boyfriend and his friend. I mean, other killers are her boyfriend's mom in
Did
part
you really
2.
call the police?
Her half brother she didn't know she had in part 3. Her niece in part 4. Like, their family's fucked up. And
Right.
she survives all this shit. And one of my favorite lines in one of the later Scream movies are like, like someone asked her, like, you have a gun? Like, she pulls a gun out. She's like, you have a gun? And she's like, I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a fucking gun. It's a great line.
Motherfucker.
But yeah, I mean, but she is like top notch, A+. And then Ellen Ripley, your guys' thoughts?
Oh my God. The
right.
Like, look it up. Female hero in a horror movie. In the dictionary, you get Ellen Ripley.
Yep.
I mean,
Badass.
she rocked those tiny. Never mind. I'm not going to go into it.
I mean, she buys it in 3.
Well, once again, like they did her dirty.
But even that, they did. They
brought her
totally
back.
did her
They had
dirty.
to clone her to bring her back.
Not a fan of 3. They did her super dirty.
Not many people are.
That was Fincher, though, right?
But
I think so.
even there, she was like, you know what?
Badass.
Fuck this. This is how we take care of the aliens. We make hard choices, and a hero makes hard choices. And I'm just going to jump into this molten metal and fuck you guys.
She's a space trucker, man. She's badass,
Yeah, she
strong,
is.
smart. She's like, Terminator reference. She's like the female Kyle Reese, you know? Like she's
I mean, I think Kyle Reese is
badass.
the female or the male Ellen
Kyle
Ripley.
Reese. Yeah, you're probably right about
Kyle
that.
Reese wishes, man.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Everyone's got to have heroes, even heroes, except for Ellen Ripley.
I think Chuck Norris looks up to Ellen Ripley, man.
All right. So those are our female protagonists. Congratulations to Sidney Prescott, Ellen Ripley, Laurie Strode, and Nancy Thompson, the Mount Rush-Gore of female heroes in our horror movies. Let's move on to famous props. The famous props in these horror movies. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to talk about. Some of them probably very quickly. One question I want to ask you guys is about masks. Is it too basic to just call a mask a prop or not? Because here's the thing, like the hockey mask, Jason's hockey mask is iconic. It is as iconic as Freddy's glove, Freddy's razor knife glove, right? But it's a mask. So if we put that mask in, that opens it up to like Michael Myers mask, like to other masks, and other masks are, you know, like Michael Myers mask is iconic. So do we say like some of these masks are so iconic that they transcend, but in the future, is a mask a cop out for a prop or not?
I don't think so. So my idea is a prop is you go to a horror convention and you see somebody hawking some shit and you look at it and you see the prop and you say, that is Jason Voorhees. That's the hockey mask from Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jason. I know exactly what that is. That for me, that is what is, you know, I mean, like, is a hockey mask cool? Do I want to have a hockey mask? I mean, I'll take the Jason Voorhees hockey mask, but is like, you know, the gun, the gun from Aliens, a cooler prop? Yeah. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to have one of those things and run around, you know, like, just like do whatever with it? What are you going to do with a hockey mask? But for me, it is that thing that triggers, this is that movie. This is iconic. And a mask, a boot, I mean, a glove, it doesn't matter to me that it's a mask. And I don't think it's a cop-out. I think it is a prop that is worthy of this list.
Most recognizable items in a movie is kind of how I view the props. There's one on here that's a living creature, which is why I didn't give it the vote for a prop. But yeah, it's going to be weapons and masks, right? Pretty much.
Okay, I'm good with that. I just wanted to ask and get your guys' thoughts because I didn't know
one of them's not
if it was too easy to just say like, oh, this mask, like, oh, that mask, because the mask is the most identifiable thing. So is that just too easy to just say, like, that's a prop, like, because it's
We're gonna run out of masks soon,
right? Sure,
You know,
and there's
not
plenty
a
of
whole lot
killers.
of
There's
movies.
plenty of killers that don't wear masks, you know. So, all right. So here's the props that we did talk about, and we put some extra ones on here in case we did decide that masks were a cop out. But, and this is again in alphabetical order, somewhat. The Blair Witch stick figures, the ghost-faced mask from Scream, a good guy doll, Freddy Krueger's glove, Lamar Chan's box from Hellraiser, Michael Myers mask, the Necronomicon, the Thing spider head, and the Jason Voorhees hockey mask. So I believe that we had 4 unanimous, and those were Freddy Krueger's glove, Jason Voorhees hockey mask, Michael Myers mask, and the Necronomicon. However, I'm just saying, I had the Necronomicon on my list.
Necronomicon.
What did I say?
Comic-Con.
Necronomicon?
I mean, I like it. There should, if there hasn't been an event, there should be.
It's like
Patent pending, copyright.
Yeah, Necronomicons for people that like comic books about dead people, right?
Right.
Actually, that's what they call it when all the funeral directors get together. It's just called the Necronomicon. You know?
Necronomicon. I put this on my short list if we weren't doing masks because I think the ghost face mask then should stand along with the Michael Myers mask and the Jason Voorhees mask and the Freddy glove as identifiable things from
It'll be in.
horror. So
Definitely gets in later.
So if we say, so then So what are we going to take out? Let's take out Lamar Chan's box, right?
Oh,
From Hellraiser?
That's a tough
quick
one,
thing,
but
like, what was the toughest omission for you guys on this one?
Well, if we were doing masks, then it's easy. You have 3 masks and you have Freddy's glove. So it wasn't hard to really eliminate the rest of them, in my opinion.
Right. I feel like, I don't know why.
Other than, I mean, Good Guy Doll,
probably
Chucky
the
would
Good
have been
Guy
5.
doll
Good Guy-
probably
okay,
would
so
have been.
Your guys' Good Guy Doll is
My
my
number 5.
Hellraiser box, right? That one is almost
It's-
as important as Pinhead in that movie.
If you see it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I can get rid of the Thing Spiderhead because since we've done the Thing, the next Hall of Fame class, that prop will go in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with I'm fine with taking that one off the list.
You're so magnanimous of you.
Hey, you know, I'm trying to seed where I can, and you know, because we're doing each other
We're
favors
trading
here.
chits.
So of what we have so far, Freddy Krueger's glove is 100%,
No doubt.
Yep.
right? Michael Myers mask,
Yeah.
100% in.
That's
Good to talk about William Shatner, right?
William Shatner.
Captain
Yep.
Kirk.
Captain
Yeah.
Kirk.
Was it Inside Out? What was the Faded?
It was just fucked up.
They fucked with it.
They
yeah.
just roughed it up.
And then it went missing. I think like it was hiding. It was like under a bed or under someone's bed and got all cracked, and they had to use a different one for part 2. And then the first one just went lost. Jason Voorhees hockey mask is in.
Yep.
Correct.
Which didn't even show up till what? Part 3?
Didn't show up till part 3.
Yeah.
He wore a sack on his head on
Jason
2.
3D.
And he comes out of the water in part 1 with that jacked up face. Yeah. So, all right. We got the hockey mask, the Michael Myers mask, Freddy Krueger's glove. So we have to pick a 4th one. If we're doing masks, I think it's either Ghostface mask or Good Guy doll. Or is it the Necronomicon?
Necronomicon.
I love the Necronomicon. Damn it, you guys got me.
Let's take Blair Witch stick figures off. Let's take Lamar Chan's box out. Sorry, Justin.
No, it's fine. There was no votes received, but it was the hardest one for me not to vote for.
All right. I will.
Other notables, you want to, just a few. Like, just to tell you how hard this was, there were 2 different chainsaws in this.
Yes.
This was a tough one.
There was 2, a bike horn. Would you guys like if you saw a bike horn, would you think that was Art's bike horn?
I would now, yeah.
If you saw the Phantasm ball.
But this
Phantasm
isn't.
ball.
Yeah, but
What?
we're talking again like elite.
All right.
Like the
Right.
elite.
So I feel like we're going to lean going forward. We're going to be more apt to lean towards the movies we've done to grab these props from. Or are we just building our list from?
Maybe. I
No,
don't know.
we're still doing the elite. I mean,
Okay.
Freddy, Michael, Jason, and then we're down to Good Guy doll, Ghostface mask, and Necronomicon.
Sorry, guys. McCready's hat did not make it yet.
No,
No.
not yet.
All right. So Ghostface mask, in or out?
Out.
Out. 2 outs. Okay. I guess that one is out.
Just feel like Jason.
Atticus is going to be disappointed. Good Guy doll, in or out?
It's
I'm out.
It's out, but honorable mention.
I feel like Chucky might have a vote later. So I feel like Good Guy Doll's out.
Yeah, this one's easy compared to the next class it gets in. I feel like there's going to be more debate.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 2 masks, a glove, and a book that are the inaugural Mount Rush-Gore of our horror movie Hall of Fame props. So Freddy Krueger's glove, Jason Voorhees hockey mask, Michael Myers mask, and the Necronomicon. You guys had any thoughts on any of those that we haven't discussed yet?
Solid 4.
Solid. I mean, talk about the Necronomicon a little bit. I think that the first 3, Freddy, Michael, Jason, everyone knows those. Don't need to go in depth about it. But like some people might not know what the Necronomicon.
So if you haven't seen-
I wasn't pronouncing it right. Necronomicon. Just explain it for some of the
Book of the
casuals.
Dead.
So yeah, it's
The Book of the
it's
Dead.
basically the Book of the Dead for the Evil Dead series, right? This is the tool that unleashes hell on earth, it unleashes the Deadites, prophesizes
Made out of human
ash.
skin,
It is bound with human flesh, right?
written in blood.
It has a face on it. And
It will bite you.
recognize
Fuck
things,
with it.
right? Yeah, I mean, I can't. I love it,
I would know instantly if I saw what we're
and it's in the
talking
series too, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that's a solid 4 to have 2 masks, a glove, and a book instead of 4 masks. I think that's solid. Or
If you want to fight us in the comment, go for it.
All right. Let's talk bad guys. What do you say? Finally.
Bad guys.
We split our villains up into 2 categories: the mortal, the living, the killable, and the immortal. You can't kill them. Let's start with mortal villains. This list has 6 characters on it. 3 of them we were unanimous on, and here they are in alphabetical order. Norman Bates, Psycho. Jaws from what was that movie? Fuck.
Jaws?
Yeah.
It's
called Shark, right?
Shark.
27 meters down, something like that.
Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. Jack Torrance, The Shining, and Pamela Voorhees, Friday the 13th, the original, part 1. The 3 that we were unanimous in: Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter, Jack Torrance.
So they're in.
They are in. That leaves us with some debate on Norman Bates, Jaws, and Pamela Voorhees. Did anybody have Norman Bates?
Looks like Mike had.
Maybe
Was
that
that
was
just
you.
me?
Yeah.
Just you. Norman, obviously iconic.
It was just me.
2 movies.
Yeah.
The original
a little
Psycho.
too close
then
to
the
his
sequel.
mother.
I mean,
You know?
I mean, he's creepy. I mean, like when you got him peeping on Janet Leigh through the wall, like that is just creepy stuff. Psycho was the first movie that I think I was scared after watching it.
That's why you haven't showered since, right?
Like, I mean, like as a kid, I'd seen some slashers and some stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street and Chucky and stuff like that when I was younger. And, you know, you think some of that stuff's just funny, the catchphrases and stuff. Like Psycho is not catchphrases. Psycho is it being in black and white, and the score that Hitchcock, you know, put into that movie with the shower scene. Like I was scared when that score kicked in the first time I saw it. I was like shaking in my seat, scared. And, you know, so Norman Bates, just being a creepy guy and peeping on Janet Leigh. I wanted to at least just mention it. Shocking in 1960 that he would like dress as his mother to kill. That was probably a really shocking twist some
Horrifying
65 years ago.
Many straight white
that today
men.
people are like, oh, okay. But
Janet Leigh was a pretty well-known lead in this one too, and they took her out 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
I'm fine with leaving him out if we want to talk the other 2. So Norman Bates, I just wanted to mention, but we can leave him out. Jaws. Thoughts on Jaws? Who had Jaws? I think Justin had Jaws.
And Charlie as
And
well.
Charlie?
Yep.
I did not put Jaws. Okay. Make your
So
case.
we know that Jaws, the shark, like dies in every movie he's in.
Right. Well,
but
do we?
there's always another shark to
Every
take his
shark
place.
looks alike. Was that rough?
Oh, that's racist.
I know, it was a little sharkist right there. Jaws made a lot of people afraid to get in the water, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Jaws is the reason people are afraid of sharks to this point, right?
Yes. I mean, other than, you know, actual real sharks
it's still,
biting people.
I think less than 10 people a year. It's something crazy where it's like
Tiny.
not many people.
More people get struck by lightning.
Right. So it's like it is an irrational fear with the likelihood that you're going to get attacked by a shark. And that after Jaws came out, we don't care. It's
Right. But even
it's
more
rational.
irrational is that this villain has such an impact that I'll get in a pool and I'll be like,
But I know Jaws.
did somebody slip a shark in here? There could be a shark in
with
here.
lasers on it?
With lasers on it. So yeah, for me, this is a get in your head, stay in your head for the rest of your life type of villain that just kind of like rent free, just oozes around and pops up literally in the movie and figuratively in my head, or I guess literally, I don't know.
I mean,
Whatever.
actually, how about that?
No English teachers here.
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate because I did not pick Jaws. I get the point that people are afraid to get in the water. It's scary, but is that Steven Spielberg's portrayal that makes it that way? Is it his shine that he puts on this movie, his genius that he puts on this movie that made it made people afraid to get in the water for a while, or is it the creature? Because creatures are everywhere. Creatures in other movies,
And this one will.
But you can
attack-
argue the same thing for every villain. I
This
mean,
will swallow you whole while you're skinny dipping. This
Yeah.
will attack
if
your
I just
boat.
saw some guy walk up in a hockey mask and had no knowledge of Friday the 13th, that wouldn't be scary. Now, if I'm in the water and a shark swims up next to me,
What if you're in the
not
water
seeing
and a guy in a
Jaws,
hockey
that would be
mask
scary.
swims up next to you?
What? In a
What
hockey
if you're in
mask?
the water and a guy in a hockey mask swims up to
Or
you?
a shark in a
Okay.
hockey mask.
Yeah. All right, let's put a maybe next to Jaws for right now. Okay.
Put a hard maybe.
And
Hard
then
maybe.
the other one that we wanted to talk about, I think I'm the only one that also put this one, is Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother in Friday the 13th Part 1. The original killer, if you've seen Scream, then you know
Spoiler
this
alert.
as well.
Spoiler
Drew
alert.
Barrymore
Oh.
didn't know this. Got her killed. You know, sweet, sweet lady. When you meet her, she's so sweet. You know,
So
you think
sweet.
she's gonna bring you like a dozen cookies,
Some hot chocolate.
some hot chocolate, and sit by the campfire. But then when you realize what she's capable of, such as an axe to the face or an arrow through a bed through your neck,
Kevin Bacon.
pinning somebody to the wall with multiple arrows,
Yep.
slitting throats, stabs in the
Some
guts.
gruesome stuff.
Her weapon
Right.
of choice is a machete.
What works against her is 96% of this movie.
You don't see her.
Right.
You don't even know.
That's
yeah.
what works against. It's almost like Scooby-Doo, like coming in and pulling the mask off. It's like, Pam,
Yeah.
Whereas in Jaws, you know.
you know what
What's
you're
going
afraid of
on?
the whole time.
Yeah. I think the brutality of her kills is like up there with the other slashers. It's up there
I
with what
agree.
Jason does. It's
I
up there
agree.
with, it's maybe even
Well, he
more
learned from his
brutal
mom,
than
you
what
know?
Michael Myers does.
But
But I will see that it was, she's only in this one. You don't see her actually doing it.
It's in her genes, though.
my-
Because, like, Jason got it hard.
Yeah, my other thing, like when it comes to Jaws, I was gonna say, like, you know, Jaws is a shark, and Jaws is just doing shark things.
Sharks be sharking.
Shark,
They
he's
shark
just
all
out
the
there
goddamn
sharking. Sharks
time.
are like, oh, food, I'm gonna eat that,
That's-
whether it's a person or not.
Like-
like
Kind of. Like it created almost like a super shark. Like, it's like sharks don't typically attack people, right?
yeah,
But this
don't
one,
attack
he's mortal.
boats.
This one
But
was-
they don't sink
he's not a
boats.
super shark.
but it was targeting people,
it jumped on a boat
right?
after a
Fair.
man.
Man, poor Clint.
2 barrels.
Clint? Is that his name?
Quinn?
Clint?
Three
Oh,
or
Quinn.
four it took. I mean, Justin made a good point. Pamela Voorhees is not in 96% of the movie. She's only in
Don't fact
the one
check
movie.
me on the percentage.
Well,
of
yeah,
this series,
she's
right?
only in the first. Jaws, I think, is a much more Hall of Fame worthy candidate. So we can
Just-
put Jaws in.
Just to let you know who we left out. We left out what Billy and Stu. Right?
Yeah.
We left out any reference to the Scream, Annie Wilkes, Firefly Family. Oh, this is a tough one here.
This was
Yeah.
tough, and I think we all picked Leatherface for obvious
Big old
reasons.
dummy with Leatherface.
I mean, dude, that shit is scary. I mean, he's the complete opposite of charming and intellectual and
you don't think
dirty,
he could
raw, scary.
disarm you with a
gross.
smile.
Oh, he'll disarm you with a hammer and hang you on a hook and chop you into pieces
that'd
and
be
feed you to your family. That shit is nuts. And wear your face, to dinner.
Here's another Hannibal Lecter. If he wasn't in the subsequent movies, Hannibal and Hannibal Rise, and they didn't do this whole thing about it, kind of like not a ton of airtime, not a ton of screen time for that guy either. So it
But
is weird.
very impactful.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And
Same thing with
yeah.
Jack Torrance, The Shining, a standalone movie. It didn't need the sequel. He wasn't in the sequel. And
he was a little.
the movie is on the top. It is Exorcist, Jaws. It is one of those movies that is like, it will stick with you. And this villain is the same way. He will stick with you and make you feel like, God damn, this could happen anywhere. This could be anybody.
Right.
And he'll
So-
get you.
So of the four that everybody picked for our mortal killable, who was our number one? Has to be in there.
My has to be in there was Leatherface
Yeah,
for Mortal
same.
Villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might agree with that one for sure.
And then Jack Torrance,
is probably,
and then Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hannibal, master manipulator, the psychology behind it, intellectual, like so charming and intellectual, but also eats people. Like that's crazy stuff.
was one downfall.
Yeah,
Goddamn psychiatrist.
In 2003, the American Film Institute voted him the greatest villain in the history of all movies. Of all movies, greatest villain. So
I mean,
if
that's
this
a
is horror
bold
movie,
statement.
That is a bold statement.
Cotton.
Let's see if we
See how it
works
plays out. You know, Jack, regular guy turns axe murderer. I mean, for Wendy and Danny, is there anything scarier than being secluded and your father
And
wants
it's your
to,
dad.
your wife and your
Yeah,
father and
it's your
husband
dad.
Your
wanna
own
kill
dad
you?
wants you dead.
That's just
He just
terrifying
wants to
stuff.
correct their
And
behavior.
Jack Nicholson's portrayal, I mean, that's just he's unsettling before he turns insane as that
Part of the
character.
reason
Yeah.
Stephen King didn't love it, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we picked 4 good ones there. People might buck us on Jaws because it's a shark, but you know we
Sharks be shark.
picked Mortal. We separated Mortal and Immortal.
That's our T-shirt.
And
Sharks
Jaws
be
does
sharking.
come back in
Sharks
other
be shark,
movies as a different shark, but I
Sharked?
think just Jaws. Even we just count Jaws 1, don't count the others. I think it still counts.
Probably good.
All right, so congratulations to Jaws, Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter, and Jack Torrance for our mortal villain, Mount Rush-Gore, bringing us to our final category, gentlemen, immortal villains. These are, they come back, you can't kill them. You kill them, they come back again. You kill them, they come back again. We had 5, and then again, alphabetical order here. Chucky, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Pinhead, and Jason Voorhees. We were unanimous on Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. We were not unanimous on the other 2, Chucky and Pinhead. Justin, I'll start with you. Make your case for Pinhead.
I am the sole holdout here for Pinhead. Even though, without getting too deep, Pinhead really wasn't the thing that was killing the people. Pinhead was just the deliverer of the consequences for seeking out this, whatever. We'll go into that in a podcast. But I just really connected with Pinhead. Don't know why. It's a very disturbing topic, subject matter. It's crazy, kinky, sexy stuff in the movies too. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
Maybe. Probably.
But he's got a great character design. Like his face is full of these nails. Somebody that's super memorable, more so to me than Chucky. But I'm in the minority on this one, so I don't know if I'm going to pull anybody from this one. But I do want to mention that Pinhead is a goat, right? He's not a goat. He's one of the top 5 apparently of this category, right? So maybe next round.
Maybe. What do you think about Chucky, Mike?
I mean, I have Chucky. I didn't want to get cute here. Freddie, Michael, Jason, Chucky. It's first name basis on these guys. I mean, between the 4 of them, 42 films. I mean, Chucky with the serial killer inside of him. You said Pinhead is kind of not the one doing the killing. Like Chucky's doing it, man. He is knife in hand. He is crafting shit.
He'll get you.
He will get you, and he shouldn't get you because he's a little doll. He gets you. I mean, he's funny too.
He is funny.
He brings a little
Well-rounded character.
comedy element to it sometimes, especially
But it's
in the later ones. No, it's not too funny.
It's not too funny.
It doesn't
to see
take
this
me
little,
out of it. No.
Doesn't take you out
good
of
guy
it.
doll running around.
No. Now, like the remake that came out a few years back with Aubrey Plaza and Mark Hamill was the voice. Like that was not good.
Didn't love it, huh?
But no, I did not love it. But
Who do we think we'd fare better against?
well,
Mark
Pinhead or
Hamill
Chucky?
or
Mark Hamill. All right, I guess that's a different
I
question.
think let's not get cute with it. I think a lot of people.
I can't help it. I'm cute all the time.
I was born that way.
I mean, I can't take Chucky out and put Pinhead in.
Yeah, I'll
fair.
stick with Chucky.
I had to try.
Yeah, I get
It was
it.
worth it. But I think as far as the elite goes and like the, what people recognize and will like want to see, I mean, it is Freddie, Michael, Jason, Chucky.
Right.
Yeah. For me, it was really close. Chucky and Pinhead.
Oh.
It was really, really close.
So wait, should I keep going to convince
No,
you?
No, you're good. You can stop.
I'm on Chucky, but yeah, I just
Stuck on Chucky?
I just like it. I like it. I'm Chucky.
How do we feel like
Pinhead's honorable mention.
there's people
But-
that received no votes, being Art, Pennywise, Samara from the Ring, Blair Witch, Candyman. These are like
Dracula.
a lot. Yeah, Dracula.
I think we just, I mean, we had to we had to only put the elite for this one. I think there's plenty here that we went over that we'll definitely get in down the road when we cover their movies on the All Guts So Gory podcast, as we uncover more movies and then have episodes like this where we say, hey, we did these 15 movies over the last few months, and so here are some new nominees. Do we want to entertain putting some more people in our Hall of Fame? And we'll do that. But this was just specifically for, the top line,
The best of the best
best
of
of
the
the
best.
best of the best, sir.
Right.
So I guess I should have known where Mike stood on Chucky based on if anybody's listened all the way through to a podcast to the very end. Isn't your outro from?
The outro to this podcast is Andy and Child's Play 1 right before he sets fire to Chucky. Yeah. This is the end, friend.
Wait, don't turn off yet. It's not the end.
Nope, not yet. All right. Let's do a quick recap. Directors: Mount Rush-Gore of directors: John Carpenter, Wes Craven, Alfred Hitchcock, Sam Raimi. Mount Rush-Gore of male protagonists: Chief Brody, Father Karras, R.J. McCready, Ash Williams. Mount Rush-Gore female protagonist: Sidney Prescott, Ellen Ripley, Laurie Strode, Nancy Thompson. Mount Rush-Gore horror movie props: Freddy's glove, Michael Myers mask, Jason Voorhees hockey mask, the Necronomicon. Got it right that time.
Did.
Immortal villains: Mount Rush-Gore, Jaws, Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter, Jack Torrance. Immortal villains: Can't Kill 'Em, Chucky, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees.
Let us know what you think about extra categories too. We're toying around with sidekicks and other things like that, so let us know.
Yeah.
Charlie wanted to also make a note about why we don't have movies on there.
Yeah, that one, like, hey, what about the best movies of all time? The top 4 movies. It's too hard. It's too subjective.
Way too hard.
Way too hard. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah.
It would be too hard. I can't say anything more than that. Right?
Yeah, of course. And
Everybody knows the Ghoulies would make that list.
Right. What about Critters?
I mean,
Yeah, and the movies are represented by the people that make up the things in those movies. I mean, having, Freddy as an immortal villain, Freddy Krueger's glove in the Hall of Fame, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven director, Nancy Thompson. Like, those are 4 elements to Nightmare on Elm Street that are represented.
Psycho Gorman.
Four elements of Nightmare on Elm Street are represented. So it's just overkill to be like, okay, do we need to put Nightmare on Elm Street in the Hall of Fame? Well, yes, of course, but they're already represented. So I think doing it this way and leaving just plain movies out, which that could, maybe down the road that could be a category, is movies not represented by anybody in this Hall of Fame. Like, I think we just did The Descent not too long ago for this podcast, and that's a movie where we didn't really think of any props, and none of the girls were worthy of getting in the Hall of Fame.
Juno.
Goddamn Juno.
There's no male protagonist. The director, Neil Marshall, we didn't pick for a Hall of Fame nominee. But maybe if we did a category that was like movies without representation, like, maybe that's a nominee, because that is on a lot of people's higher echelon horror movie list.
Slept on Hall of Fame.
A slept on Hall of Fame, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
So,
Be sleeping
All
on
right,
dog
guys.
soldiers, apparently.
Yeah.
What'd you
Thanks,
think,
guys.
What'd you guys think of this exercise? Do you think we did all right?
I think part of it seemed like ripping a Band-Aid off. We had to, we had to do it. We had to, because we keep referencing the future Hall of Fames, and we had to establish a baseline for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
We had to put the elite in. I think we did that, and there's always going to be a left out. Like, there's always be somebody that was 9.9 and not a 10, or
Romero.
Your top 25 AP polls, there's always a number 26. The top 68 teams that make the NCAA tournament, there's always a number 69 team that should be. That's like, I should be in there.
69.
Gotcha.
6, 7.
There's always one that should be like, I should be in there. But it's a tough exercise, but I think we did a good job.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Good job, gentlemen.
Thank you guys for this special
Is
episode.
this the end?
In a minute. For Charlie, Justin, I'm Mike. This is the All Guts So Gory podcast, our inaugural Hall of Fame class. Drop a line in a fan mail and our show notes, and we'll talk about it, and
Nice.
we'll figure out what our next movie will be. Thank you so much. This is the end, friends.
This is the end, friend.